Hello, my name is Joan, and I used to be a hoarder. Hey everyone, so it's that time of year, summer's almost over, and I like to take the time to just declutter, get rid of stuff I don't need. I've been trying to do this for the last several years when I started my minimalism journey, just getting rid of stuff a couple of times throughout the year, and I started getting rid of stuff again in the last couple of days. Now, realizing that I've been a hoarder, it's not really easy for me to accept. I mean, when I look back on it, I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. But I grew up in an environment where everybody just kept everything. Everybody kept sentimental items. Everybody gave me hand-me-downs, or I would hand down things to my younger siblings. And, you know, I have a huge family, like relatives, so we would always give each other stuff for the holidays. But a lot of times I just kept things I don't even need. So I didn't realize that it was a problem until I started to move to different places and I couldn't bring all my things. And it wasn't until maybe 3 years ago when it really hit me that, dang, I have a hoarding problem. You know, it hit me when I looked inside my closet and it was full. It was like from wall to wall, just shoved with clothes that I know I was never going to wear again, but I kept it just in case. And I also had boxes and above and below, and you know, it was getting a little bit too much. I mean, I'm a pretty clean person. I've always been very neat and clean, but I just stored a lot of things in boxes, under my bed, in my closet, and anywhere I could find where I could hide my mess. Again, not easy for me to admit, but I grew from it, I'm learning from it, and I'm still going through this journey. So I want to talk about all the things that I've learned from just decluttering my life and going on this minimalism journey. The first thing that I've learned from getting rid of stuff is that I also reduce my mental baggage. The thing I've learned is that things have energy, no matter what it is, how little, how big, everything has energy because there's a story attached to it. There is a person attached to it. There is an emotion attached to it. So whether you realize it or not, everything has energy. And the more stuff you have, the more energies that you might actually feel. So if you ever feel like you're cramped or whatever, it's because you have too much stuff. So like, for example, I love a good pen. I journal, I write in my planner, and I have my to-do list. I love a good pen. And so I would keep like a little jar of just pens. And there was one particular pen that somebody gave me who I don't talk to anymore, but they gave me this pen, like a souvenir pen, and I kept it for years. It was just sitting in that jar. And it wasn't until like, you know, not that long ago, I realized like, holy crap, I think about that person every time I see that pen. So I got rid of it, got rid of all the other pens that I will never use, and just kept the really good ones that I use all the time. So, you know, as little as a pen can remind you of a person or a situation or, you know, an emotion that you just don't want to revisit. So, you know, mental baggage, right? That's all mental baggage that I just don't deal with as much anymore. I'm not as distracted from things. And then from things, I'm not distracted from the person who gave it to me. I'm not distracted with this emotion that happened that when that thing was given to me. So again, everything has energy. The more you get rid of stuff, the less stuff you're distracted by, the less things you have to think about. The more you can focus on what's important to you right now and not what was important back then. The next big thing I learned from minimalism and decluttering my life is that I save time. Fact is, the less stuff I have, the less decisions I have to make. So again, I reduced my clothes to like almost less than half than what I had. And now that I only have a few pieces of items that I can choose from, I can get ready much faster. I can get someplace much faster because I just have very little to choose from. And that goes with where everything is. I just know where everything is. Because I have less stuff, I have less places that I need to look for. So I don't really lose anything. I just know where everything is. And my place is just generally cleaner and neater, just easier to maintain. I maybe need to just vacuum and mop like once a week because our place gets dusty. But other than that, I don't spend a lot of time cleaning. And then especially laundry. Oh my God, like laundry was like such a chore back then. Like I would spend a whole day just doing laundry, but now like I just have one load of my clothes to wash and I'm done in a couple hours and I'm good for the week. Having less things gives you more time. You're able to spend more time on the things that are important to you. You can get to places faster and you can just take your time. You know, you're not wasting time deciding on things. You're not wasting time looking for things. You're not wasting time on chores you don't really want to do. So get rid of stuff and you'll save way more time. Another important thing that I learned with minimalism is developing intentional habits. Whether it's when I spend money on things, when I receive things, when I give things to others, and just making sure that everything has its place, has its function, has a purpose in my life. So whenever I buy something, I actually take my time to make sure, do I really need this? Am I really gonna use this long term? You know, I try not to buy something just because it's cute or it's on sale. Like I really think it through. And you know, there's a time I worked in a clothing retail and I would just hang something and I would just wait like maybe a month to decide if I'm even gonna buy it. And I realized that, you know, if I really needed it, if I really wanted it, I would have bought it right away. But the fact that I had to sit on it, I realized, okay, I'm gonna put that away. So I really take the time to decide, like, what do I need? What am I really going to use? And on top of that, I make sure that whatever I buy, I invest a little bit more to make sure it's something that's going to last forever. You know, you don't realize how much you waste money and waste time, like trying to buy something because the other thing broke, and it's, you know, it's just a waste of effort. So it's just really important for me to just spend good money on good things that'll just last forever. Another thing that comes with that is learning not to give people things that might clutter their life. So that was something I really had to figure out. Like when I give people gifts, I make sure it's something that I know they will use, that they will love, and that it's not just gonna sit there and collect dust. Like for example, my dad, he loves to garden. So, you know, for his birthday, I gave him a box of like seeds and like fertilizer and stuff like that, and he uses them. Those are the kind of things that I think of when I give people gifts. It's like, are they gonna use it? Is it gonna make them happy? Are they gonna benefit from it? That's something that I've figured out, is how to give people gifts. And at the same time, I try not to accept hand-me-downs. You know, people give me stuff, or people ask me, hey, what do you want for your birthday? What do you want for Christmas? And a lot of times I just don't want anything. And if I do want something, I'd be like, hey, let's just go out for dinner. You know, let's go grab a drink. I'd rather just create memories with the person rather than, you know, have them give me something that they're not even sure if I'm gonna want or use. And overall, everything has its place. Everything has a purpose, a function. You know, my bookshelf is for my books. My counters are for my food prep. I make sure everything has its place, has its purpose. Again, I know where everything is because I don't have too much stuff, so I can put something in its own special place. And when I do keep things that are more emotional for me, something that has a lot of meaning, you know, I put them somewhere where I can really showcase them, so when I see it, I can really appreciate that thing. The other thing I learned from decluttering my space is how to declutter my social life, my career, and also the digital space. So with my social life, I've learned to say no to things that I don't really want to do. I've learned to say no to gatherings where I know I have to be around people I don't really want to be around with. And that was huge because I felt guilty a lot of times for not doing something. I always used to feel like, oh, I should at least make an appearance. And then I come home and I regret that I went. So I've been a lot better about what I do and who I spend my time with. And then the other thing is that, you know, being a freelancer, I've always, you know, just trying to take all the gigs that I can, just hustling just to make money. But at the end of it, a lot of the gigs I've done were just not really worth my time. They weren't really fulfilling, and they didn't really lead to any kind of growth or potential. And so I'm a lot better about the type of work that I accept. I mean, sometimes it's a little bit hard when you want to try to make a little bit more money, but for the most part, I do my best to pick what I really want to do, what benefits me. And of course, the digital space. You know, my computer, I keep, you know, not only do I keep it organized, I try to clean it up, make it look nice and neat. I know where everything is. I throw out files I know I'm just never going to use again. And my phone, you know, I try to keep, you know, very minimal apps. I don't have a lot of things on my phone. You can't even like swipe to too many pages. It's just one page. Like that's all. Everything I have is on the front page. And when it comes to social media, I mean, that's a whole other thing. But I definitely started to declutter my social media space because a lot of times, like what people post or pictures I see, it's just, again, it's the whole mental baggage that you get from just seeing something that someone posts or says. So I've learned that the mute button is very useful. So I started doing that. Like I don't necessarily want to unfollow certain people. Like I do care about them. That's why I follow them. But sometimes like some people are just too much. So I just hit the mute button and it just, it's again, the less mental baggage for me. So I've learned to declutter my digital space in that way. And overall, the biggest thing that I've learned from having a minimalist lifestyle is how it can really transform your life. I mean, I feel more free, more open, more spacious because I have more space. So I feel like I can really express myself and just really grow, and I have room to grow as a person. So just having less stuff, I physically feel I have more space, and internally, I feel like I have more space to grow. I feel like I can see more potential, more possibilities because there's just less stuff in the way. I just feel liberated from objects that I didn't realize were holding me back. Like say you were holding on to like this really old coat. It's so worn out, but you hold on to it because, some kind of emotional attachment you have to this coat, all the memories you've had wearing this coat, but it's, it's falling apart. But you don't, I didn't get rid of it because, again, the mental baggage that comes with it. But because I held on to it, I wasn't seeing a potential of a nicer coat or a better coat or something, So again, things can hold you back whether you realize it or not. I just feel way more free and liberated when I don't have old things that just don't serve a purpose anymore. I'm definitely better at letting go of anything that just doesn't serve me, that just doesn't do anything for me, that doesn't bring me joy. When I look at everything, I always try to be conscious about like, why is it still in my life? Why do I hold on to it? Am I ever going to use it? Am I ever going to sell it? Am I ever going to give it to somebody? And a lot of times when I get rid of stuff, I don't even take the time to like reminisce. I just throw it out because after I throw it out, I find that I'm not even thinking about it anymore. So learning how to let go of things has just become a lot easier for me, and I've learned to let go of anything. And the biggest transformation that it's done is that I'm way more grateful for every little thing, for every little moment, and the people around me. When you have less things, you see what's actually around you that you may have not seen before because you were distracted by objects and things. And the less stuff you have, the more likely you can see how beautiful your home is, or notice the books that you've been wanting to read. Now you have time to read them because you see them and they have their place. And when you have less things, you become more grateful for what you have, for what little you have, because that little you have can go a long way, can bring you so much more joy than having so many things. So this is my minimalism journey. Now, becoming minimalistic is not something that happens overnight. This can take time. I mean, it took me years of slowly getting rid of stuff before I got to the point where I just had to just throw almost more than half my things. And while I feel like I have less stuff now, I maybe still have a few more things I can go through and get rid of. But again, it takes time because it's an emotional thing. It's, again, like mental baggage that I have to deal with, that I have to accept and know that, at some point I need to move on. Actually, at some point I'd love to do like an apartment tour and just kind of show you guys like, my minimalistic space and, talk about like why I keep certain things, why I have what I have. And I think that'll be really fun. So I'll do that at some point. Anyway, I hope you guys are having a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next video.